Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's an all-you-can-geek movie cast. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy,
What's up?
Corey Feinsod,
Yo.
and Tony Korkanakis.
Hey.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners. Welcome, viewers. We are live right now on Twitch. Tuesday nights, we start at 8 o'clock. Please join us for these live broadcasts. We'd love to hear from you. We'll chat with you guys. If you can't make the live broadcast, though, we're over on YouTube. So, obviously, we're busy, life. And that means YouTube's there. And all the content's over there. So, feel free to check it all out. You get notified when we post if you subscribe. It helps us out. So, please do. All right, Moviecast, folks. Moviecast. What has been going on in our worlds of movies? Of course, and we're live right now. I just got the notification. What's been going on in our world, guys? I have been trying to get through the season 2 of The Last of Us. So I am giving it the go.
Okay. Don't sound too enthused.
No.
I don't understand why. If you want to.
Well, because I thought I'd
Watch
give
it.
it a chance. Look, the game. I love the first game a lot. I didn't.
You didn't even want to play the second game.
No,
So
'cause I
what's
didn't-
making you watch this show?
Because everybody loves this stuff so much. I'm like, well, maybe I'll like it when I watch the story that they tell me, and I haven't liked it, at least from the
Well,
show.
I will say that, this is the worst version of this story that you're going to experience.
But I don't have to play the game then. Like getting involved in the game.
No, I get it, but
is-
just
yeah.
watch a playthrough then. I think we talked about it last week.
We
It's
did.
like,
We definitely did.
if you don't want to watch the show, then there's no point to go through it like this.
It's really unfortunate because after the finale, I saw some clips online, and here's the thing. I understand that Bella's the actress
Ramsey?
Bella Ramsey.
Yeah, Bella Ramsey.
is getting a lot of unwarranted and unjust hate.
Absolutely, she is.
I think she deserves that kind of stuff at all, right? But objectively speaking, I do not think she had the chops to play adult Ellie. Or at least the writing did not give her the opportunity to do that. I saw a couple scenes where it was just like they're verbalizing, having her verbalize no, and I'm just like, this sounds like literally sounds like a child begging. So I don't know if you're really supposed to be portraying Ellie as a strong, vengeful, almost killing machine at this point, right?
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem. It's the transition from her character. Like, I don't feel like that's built in the show well.
Right.
now,
And the other thing is too is like before the game came out, there's that one key art image, I believe, of adult Ellie or young adult Ellie, whatever you want to call it, an older Ellie. Like you could just see, and I think it was the box art originally.
Yeah, the box art. They did a comparison of the two. Yeah.
Like the box art Ellie makes me go, oh, okay, damn. Like she's angry, obviously, like very angry. And out of all the stuff I've seen of the show, which again isn't much, just clips online and stuff like that, it's total opposites for me. Like I'm just like, oh, honey, like just
I don't
let me make you a cup of hot cocoa or something, right?
Yeah.
Like
there's no you don't feel the threat that she's supposed to be presenting here.
Absolutely not.
It's just unfortunate because I like the show and I like the story they tell, but having experienced the game and what you go through in the game and what you're seeing on the screen, it is by far a weaker product and presentation in general. It's just too bad because I do agree. And again, nothing wrong with the younger Ellie for Bella Ramsey.
Yeah, I think she's
fine,
perfect,
but she didn't change whatsoever. Like if you
that's-
look at Pedro Pascal's character, like it looks like he aged throughout the show.
I think it's writing and direction. I don't know if it's exactly her. I feel like it's a lot to do with the writing, with what they've established with her in this show. They have not established that she's anything about a killing machine at all until it just clicked. Like the episode I'm on episode 6 now, but episode 5, I'm not spoiling anything, but there's like a transition change where I'm just like, the shit did that come from? Like, holy crap. Because you don't get it at all it's only 7 episodes long. And it's like, I feel like I just didn't get the story that they're trying to give me here. I didn't feel the story. That's what it is. I didn't get
episode 5, the one with ends with the red.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So
that scene in the game is so crazy.
I bet, but I'm like, there's so many sequences that I'm like, I kind of could see what the game could offer here better, and that's usually what happens with the game. It's like a book. You know, how often is the visual media better than an actual book story or a video game, which can be hours upon hours longer and dive more in depth on things? That being said, season 1 of this show did a fantastic job of transferring that story into a show. This time around, I don't know anything about the story, but this seems confusing to me. That's the thing. I don't know anything right now, so it's confusing to me.
Okay.
The other
No,
thing
I
is, too,
get that.
is Abby, like Abby in the game, you look at her and you're like, okay, like damn, she looks like she's tough.
She's gonna beat the crap out of
kick
you.
some serious ass,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And show Abby. I don't know the actress name.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with how she appears at all, but like, again, just a very stark difference. And actually, if anything, I was like, why aren't you playing adult? Like that's what I think, right? When I see her, I'm like, you should be playing adult Ellie. Like, there's some behind the scenes pictures of that actress with Pedro Pascal, and I'm just like,
that's it.
This is it. Like,
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? That's my opinion, though. So
No, that's a fair point. And it's the further I get from this show, the more flaws are evident and obvious.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's a shame.
And yeah, it's too bad because it's a great story and I wish more people played the game.
Yeah. Well, it's not out.
It did cause it to surge in sales. So
that's what I hope. That's what you'd hope for
Yeah,
with
exactly.
with the show, is that because the people love it, they want to play it, they want to experience more of it.
Mike, what were you gonna say?
I mean, meanwhile, I just wish we didn't have to talk about Last of Us anymore. Honestly,
wow. And here we are. You sound like Tony there when we're talking about games. Like
because like I'm so burnt out by
Batman,
this conversation. No, it's not that.
I'm just saying.
I'm just burnt out by this conversation and everyone's feelings about this. Back from when the second game came out, and the first game had its interesting ending that should have been the ending, and the leaks were like, oh, I don't want that. Then we had to deal with years of discourse about it, and now it's back because they have to make this into a show. So fuck it, right. I don't want to hear about Last of Us anymore.
You don't have to hear about it for another 2 years.
It's 2 more years, yeah. And maybe I'll go to the game. I don't know. But
it's only $30 right now.
Yeah, I'm looking for. I got. We'll talk about games on the Gamecast, but I have some stuff to talk about there. But yeah, I this show. I'm gonna finish up the season. Not saying I'm done with it entirely.
You got 2 episodes.
I'm not done with it entirely. I'm not saying I'm not done with it entirely either. Like I got to experience the other.
You don't even need to watch it. Just ask Neil Druckmann what he thinks, and he'll tell you directly. Don't even watch the show.
But anyways,
he'll tell you how to feel.
I think that's all I've watched myself. Tony, what about you?
Let's see. Only new thing is hanging out with my brother the one day, and we're on a family Apple joint thing. Just for backup, but apparently for some reason, because I did that deal for like 3 months of Apple TV for $6 or something like that, he's somehow benefiting off of that. Like, it was so funny because like the other weekend, his girlfriend is like, "Yeah, we were watching this on Apple TV." I was like, "You have Apple TV?" And Mike's like, "Yeah, I don't know why we have it." And I was like, "Oh, you probably have it because I fucking have it. I signed up for 3 months for $6 or something." And they're like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." I'm like, yeah, after this expires, you guys are fucking paying for this shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they've been watching some Apple stuff, and we're just hanging out, just looking for something to do. And I was just like, oh, you know what? Let's put on the first episode of Severance, right? Because I heard really good things about it.
There you go.
And I was like, okay, this will motivate me. Because like the hardest part for me is always starting a new show, where it's just like, you only hear like the buzz and whatnot. And I was like, okay, sure. And yeah, the first episode is absolutely designed like one of these, like, oh, there's like some weird shit going on and you're going to be as confused as these characters are, and then we're going to slowly peel away the layers of the onion, which is not bad, right? But it's just kind of like,
it's one of those, like, are you going to be invested in it with like, oh, I got to figure this out, or just like, fuck, screw this, I can't care.
I look
That's
at it
the
like
thing, and I think
much...
this one for me and it seems like most people, it's like, they want to know more. You want to say, oh, what's
very much like
definitely is a good hook.
Very,
it's definitely a good hook.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good hook. Interesting plot, and the whole like twist of like, oh, you separate your work and your real life, or your outside work life, your lives, I guess. But I gotta say that first, if you guys remember that, like, I don't know if they called it something. dinnerless dinner party was one of the most awkward conversations I've ever seen on TV. Where I was just like, oh, like I would have just excused myself because this is like all the other people around him like being pretentious douchebag assholes, and I'm just
Oh, that
like,
was it. Was that at his sister's house?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, it's been a while. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I was just like, oh, you guys are not cool. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna continue with it. So
Cool.
look forward to further impressions on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get. It's the same idea for me. I keep hearing things about Murderbot, and I want to really check
Yes,
that
that
out.
too.
Yeah,
That too.
yeah, I want to check that out. So that's on my list. I'll be starting that as soon as I get the 6 and 7 done here. I'll be on that probably. So, Corey.
Nothing really new, just some anime. So
All right.
nothing crazy.
Mike.
Just sports.
Okay.
I mean, I'm watching a lot of Final Fantasy pack openings. That's what I've been doing.
I will say I got to watch the playthrough of son of a bitch, my cat's chewed the wire. I watched a playthrough of
Fun playthrough.
yeah, of that. But yeah, this is cats, folks. This is cats.
That's why you don't have cats.
That's it. The D&D show that I was talking about. Remember the Encounter Party? Encounter Party. I have watched sporadically since I talked about this, and I have never seen. Like, I looked it up, and the show I guess is still trying to air season 2, which it's filmed. It looked like 2026. It might be coming out from what I read. Maybe that's hopeful thinking from people online, but I got to watch the season finale the other night. Finally, I'm like, oh, okay. It's a great combat. I love it's really well done. Like, I thought it was really cool to watch the playthrough of it. And they have actors obviously that play the D&D and they react like actors would. But it's a production and it's really well done. They had a podcast apparently, so it's kind of cool like what they did with this whole thing. But it's called Encounter Party, and I hope they have another season because I really enjoyed the finale. It was really cool, epic battle, and yeah, it was great. All right, box office this week. Well, The Karate Kid opened, but it did not open at number 1. It only did 20 million, which is I guess expected considering the marketing behind, like, just lack thereof and story information. Like, I didn't get much at all.
I heard the budget was only like 50-ish million.
It's not a huge budget. No, you're not going to give much to this.
Like, I can imagine. Yeah.
So, what are you going to get? I mean, you're going
to... I also heard, like, I don't know. I guess this might be spoiler or something like that, but apparently the characters we would care about only show up for the last
That's what I've heard
in the movie. And it's just kind of like, it seems like a bait and hook or like
bait and switch.
Bait switch. Yeah. That's more appropriate for sure. And I'm just like, that doesn't, like, why would you market it this way, right? If that was your intention all along, right? Because now people have expectations and the whole time they're going to be like, where's fucking Daniel LaRusso and things like that, rather than have it be a surprise. Like, hey guys, this is a straight up
that would have been better. New... Absolutely,
right?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's just me. I'm not.
It could have been
Hollywood executive
because it's Jackie Chan, right? So Jackie Chan was in the original Karate Kid, not the original, but the new version of the Karate Kid they did.
Yeah, the new version.
If they did this here as like a new telling of it, like the next Karate Kid with him as a new story, and didn't mention like the Daniel LaRusso part of it, and had that be like the surprise, that would have been great. I think that would have gotten a lot of great press, a lot of fanfare from it. But yeah, maybe you're right. I have to see it yet, but it's not theater worthy for me. And I'm
this is like hits streaming.
Yep,
Netflix.
Yep. Oh, Sinners is coming tomorrow to streaming, so I might have to check that out. So I'm excited for that. Lilo and Stitch was number 1, still $61.8 million last weekend. It is killing things. It's $618 million worldwide. 284.
Hopes and dreams.
Yeah,
and the message of the original.
Yeah, well, that's the funny part. Like, it did 284 million domestic, and I've had conversations with people after watching this movie, and I'm like, yeah, it's not a great story message that they give the people. Actually, if you watch it, I heard
it through online, and I was like, no way.
Don't have context, though. I think it can be misconstrued a little bit, but I get what people are upset about.
It's not like the movie's fun. The movie's good. It's just that ending. You're like, this is where we're going with it. Okay, I guess.
I talked to Matt about it, and he was saying that it's not as bad as.
It's not as bad.
Your brother Matt.
No, I watched it. I'm like, I didn't leave saying, "Holy crap, why'd they do that?" I didn't say that at all. But the more you think about it, you're like, man, why'd they choose to do that when you're away from it? But
well, like he said, like she says something about it like before it all happens. So
Oh,
like I said, I have no context because I haven't seen the film, but it's a choice.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
I haven't seen either version, so I have.
Oh,
oh wow.
come on.
That's crazy. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, 27.2 million. At 356 worldwide, it will not make its money back.
No.
But
unfortunately, it's one other thing that just was impacted by COVID still. So
Yep.
whatever.
And
Plus,
I think
yeah.
it was apparently it sounds like it was a kind of a weak entry into this franchise, and it being one of the, or potentially Tom Cruise's last Mission Impossible, he's saying. So we shall see.
we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
it's unfortunate, but what can you do, right?
What are you gonna do? That is pretty much your box office. Final Destination and Bring Her Back are the two. Yep.
Jen, those horror films just gonna keep making money.
Yeah.
Just speaking of Final Destination, real quick, is what I think is funny because this movie's come out. I've seen at least tweets and posts on Reddit about like what I assume are younger people getting into Final Destination.
Yeah.
And like being like, "Yo, this scene is so whack," and it's like, and people are just like, "Yeah," like people refuse to drive behind like trucks carrying logs for years or something like that. Or just,
It's still like when I'm behind a truck on a highway with logs, I still think of the movie.
Yeah.
It comes to mind immediately to this day. Yeah.
Today I was behind a truck with logs. Now it wasn't on the highway,
Yeah.
but a little splinter of wood did fall out onto the road, and I went around it. I'm like, "Fucking Final Destination bullshit."
Yep. You're on.
Well, apparently, I don't know if you guys saw. Like, there's an article. There was a theater that was playing the new Final Destination film, and the roof caved in during the showing.
Wow.
And like, and so like they're saying everybody was okay, but they're like, everyone in that theater, you better be watching out for the next like
yeah, 20
however long.
People locked themselves in like a safe room. It's done great though. 232 worldwide for the movie. So it's done really well.
Probably like cost them like 50 million or something.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got like a screaming kid here.
And happens.
Yeah,
Maybe
Final
watching
Destination will
Final
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'll be right back. Yeah, so talk. I gotta go check this out real quick. I got a screaming kid at the house, but why don't you kick us off with some news, guys?
All right, let's get into some news,
Kick us off,
everyone.
guys. Sorry
Who else
about
has it open?
that. Sorry.
It's all good.
let's see.
So, I
First
got
thing
the Superman thing was the first thing I saw.
Yeah, first thing
Oh,
I was gonna say was
Yeah.
James-
The problem is we need Jim to talk about this because he is the most gung ho on this movie and believes stuff like this. So,
Well,
yeah,
no, we can talk about the early tracking. Superman tracking is pretty tracking for it.
No. So hold on. I saw this, but I didn't want to get into it on the Discord channel. I wanted to save it for here. So the Hollywood Handle, at Hollywood Handle, is supposedly saying the early tracking for Superman is 154 to 175 on its domestic box office opening weekend. And I'm confused because pre-sales have not started for this movie yet. So how the fuck are you getting these projections?
Right, it's pulling numbers out of thin air.
Yeah. Like,
it's an educated
absolutely.
guess or an uneducated guess.
it's not even educated. It's just literally, I think it's going to do whatever. Which is fine, right? We all do that, but like...
What do they do?
Yeah,
like,
it's
where
not
are
tracking. It's just a wild guess.
It's a wild guess, but it's like, I guess what you could do is be like, all right, how many screens
are we looking
is this
at
going to be playing in? How do we think it's going to do as far as selling out each of these screenings? And then you can go from there.
Maybe what they did was they, multiplied the percentage of YouTube views that this one did compared to Christopher Reeve's one. So that percentage, by that metric, by YouTube views, infinitely better than Christopher Reeve's movie.
But yeah, it's just a made-up number right now. Who knows? Dude, what do you actually think? Like, if you were going to make up a number, because that's what we're doing right now, what are you going to make up?
I think domestically, it
barely,
opens at
like
80 million. 80.
80 for you, Mike? Yeah, it's James Gunn still, so I'm going to give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt, and I'm looking at 120.
Ooh, 120.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
120 is definitely on the high end.
I think this thing could do the numbers it's predicting. I really do. It's James
course you
Gunn.
do,
It's
Jim.
Superman. I'm sorry, guys. Like, it's true.
So
No, you don't be
so
sorry. It's your
you,
opinion.
you
I'm
missed
just saying.
you missed a little bit of the point where we're bearing the lead with you, where
I'm higher
there's
up on the movie.
no pre-sales yet, so this
No,
is just a guess.
It's a guess, and I knew that when I posted it. It's just a complete guess. It's tracking about interest, and not about sales. So you're right.
Just
And I don't know
comparing
when-
the YouTube views to the Christopher Reeves movies.
Yeah.
YouTube views.
The pre-sales
that.
for this should be starting this week. It's 5 weeks out at this point. I thought we'd have some pre-sales going for this thing, but not yet. But
I don't know what they're waiting for.
I don't know. I thought there would
Probably
be.
they don't want their real tracking numbers to come out.
Maybe we'll see.
Could be.
But
Could be.
we'll see what it gets done. I do think 150 is highly possible. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm crazy here, but I do think a weekend of 150 for this
Insane.
movie. I don't think I'm insane making that statement. I think insane might be
Worldwide?
no 150
domestic?
domestic weekend haul.
No.
Okay,
150. Wait, is that the holiday weekend? I forget now.
that's the.
It is a
it's the
shorter
week after
film,
that. It's
so
the
they
week
could
after
get
that.
more showings in there. So it might make more because of that.
Yeah. So
I'm thinking like half of that.
wow, Mike,
Yeah.
that's a little too harsh. Like
That's-
you're telling me the tracking is 154 to 175, and it's going to open at 80.
There
That's
is
not
no
tracking, Jim.
tracking.
They go by
It's just a made-up
interest.
number.
Go by interest.
Trist.
AI saying this. So
Like
you gotta
I
believe 'em.
said, they're comparing, Twitter impressions to Christopher Reeves movies and using that percentage because there was zero.
Okay.
Infinitely better than the Christopher Reeve release. That's
All right.
that's their tracking.
We will see once the pre-sales start. So, if it starts, because I don't know when it's going to go. But the cool part about the movie, did you mention the Godzilla -1 inspirations?
waiting for you to
Yeah.
do that.
So,
We're waiting for you.
so yeah, James Gunn said that he was actually inspired making this film by the Godzilla -1 movie, which we raved about last year. How great that film was, and it's basically more about the human side of things going on while this big monster is ravaging their world. But this would be like while you're in the world with Superman, like the human element of the story is kind of mixed intertwined with it. It's
There's
a cool idea.
apparently big monsters there anyway.
There are, yeah, there's
like-
some, yeah, there are.
He's
But I do like that that little. It's pretty cool, like the influence from that. That director's got to be like so like ecstatic the amount of recognition that movie has gotten. Just
I'm
even
really-
from peers.
I'm really curious what kind of influence though, because Godzilla -1
There's
didn't come
big
out until
monsters in it.
the end of 2023. So
Yeah.
like how much
How much did he change of this movie
Right?
while he was doing it? Yeah.
like is it just the monster thing? But like I mean the whole thing, right? And I think Corey and I both talked about this. We saw it initially, and I think maybe Jimmy even chimed in later. But like, even though it's a big monster movie, like the whole big draw of Godzilla -1 was the human element, right? Because it's how like Godzilla affects like ordinary people, the titular character.
Right, this
Yeah.
unstoppable force that these people, just regular people, have to deal with, and how do you do that?
Right. So I don't know. I mean, it'd be a bold move if this movie actually didn't have that much Superman in it, and it was mostly about people in Metropolis. I really doubt that though, but
No.
there's a lot of
Clark
other.
Kent.
I hope
Focused
it's more than just
in the movie.
there's a big monster. We have to have a big monster too. It's
Yeah.
like
We'll see. We'll see what that means
bro,
exactly.
you had that
That's
weird.
That's the
fucking-
confirmed part.
you
Kaiju
had
looking
fucking
thing.
Yeah.
Starro
Yeah,
and
whatever that
fucking
was.
Suicide Squad, which like that. God, that Harley Quinn eye dive. Ugh.
Yeah.
Still gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, I just remembered it. And it just give you that shiver. It gives you that shiver
Yeah.
thing you get. Yeah. All right.
Tangentially related. I just want to bring it. I just posted it now.
I just saw you post it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders rejected David Zaslov's $52 million pay.
Good.
So
Yeah.
maybe it seems like finally the shareholders are getting fed up with how the company's being run, which
I mean,
is about time.
He seems to be actively working against the company.
Yeah.
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 And then
I
he
mean,
wants $50 million for it.
That's the thing. Like, he wants to cut and like delete jobs and then take a bonus of that amount of money, and then like. That's the thing for me that always just doesn't make sense. Is like you see the layoffs and not just on WB but everywhere. Like, and then the CEOs and the execs give themselves like $50 million bonuses. So like,
Yep.
I don't know if that's the case here. I think it sounds like to me the board itself doesn't feel like he's doing that great of a job to warrant that pay, which is fine, because I don't think he is either. But they obviously clearly don't have the money to give him this amount of money. They're broke. They're in financial trouble right now with stuff, and you're killing movies for a tax write-off over and over again. I'm sure I'm sure industry, like the movie industry, that like this happens. But when have we heard about it happening this much? Right. So that's the thing.
And just a note, I mean, like that total that he wanted, the 52, is just a hair below the co-CEO of Netflix, Greg Peters, at 60 million. And Ted Sarandos, the other co-CEO, and it's like Netflix is banging. Like there's no, like they are not in any trouble at all. And they are growing and profiting, and WB is not. So I don't know how that number. I don't know how you justify your salary. I really do not. It's like we're not the last place in the streaming wars, I guess. Like, good for you, man.
Yeah,
good for you.
I mean, they're pretty close, but all right. The other news I had from DC was the inspiration. There's a Clayface movie coming. It is happening, apparently.
I don't know why. Who the fuck is asking for this?
I don't know.
Same thing with like the Craven and the Madam Web and the Morbius. Like, why are we getting these movies that. Just because they're characters from popular characters?
But those I can understand, because real quick, sorry to cut you off, Mike. At least Sony was like, hey, we have the rights to all these characters. We might as well use it, right? Like, just throw crap at the wall, see what sticks, right? WB doesn't have that problem. They don't need to do this. Focus on your most popular, most iconic characters. If you can't even get Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman right, what are you gonna do with any of these other random ass characters and villains?
I don't,
because Batman is an empty seat right now for them.
Yep, it's a giant question mark. It's also not the Riddler.
Yeah. Also, people have been asking for Clayface in Batman movies a bit recently.
I'd love to see him in a movie. I'd love to see him in a movie.
I think it's hard to do him, especially.
But he'd be a much better character as the secondary character / side character, not the focal character.
No. I think he's good as a sub villain, a minor villain, but he's not I'm not saying minor. That's the wrong statement. But the level, the B villain. So they're gonna the inspiration for what they're doing for this movie is Feet of Clay from the old show, the 1990 animated series, which was a great 2-part episode, if you remember back in the day, of Clayface's creation. Because I think in the comic books there's a couple different stories that have come out from it, but that's the one that they were drawing inspiration from. It's funny because Flanagan is also kind of not as attached onto the project as much anymore. So he said that this was the notes that he gave them all. They were going with this. He's like, this could change, but this is what we're looking at in terms of what we're going to work on. So, but yeah, so we'll see about that. Lastly, in the news, we've got Marvel side of things. We've got a weird statement from Chris Hemsworth. Weird statement. Last week, he posted a statement. I think it was on Instagram. Was it on his Instagram? But it's basically saying, playing Thor has been one of the greatest honors of my life. For the last 15 years, I held Mjolnir and then Stormbreaker as the God of Thunder. But what made it truly special was sharing it with all of you. Your passion, your cheers, your love for this character have meant everything to me. Sounds to me like he was leaving, and then he says, "Thank you for making my journey through the MCU unforgettable. Next up, Doomsday." The thing for me is clearly I think you posted the right meme, Tony, on Discord with the Reaper, the Grim Reaper, Dwight Schrute. But I don't feel like Marvel will allow him to post that, right? I mean, I feel like this is just a weird post.
Yeah.
I think it's marketing. I think they're trying to promote. Look at my Thor's last appearance.
If he mentions Doomsday, it's 100% marketing. You don't just throw that out there without it being part of marketing. But at the same time, I can see this as marketing / Doom just shows up and
levels
just kills Thor, right? Yeah. Just to set this. And again, I said that years ago with Thanos when we finally got him on screen. I was like, he just needs to show up and just kill one of the strong Avengers, right? And that's what he did. He like pretty much beat Thor, beat the shit out of Hulk, and like made him like not come out. So I think that's how you set the expectations, right? It's like, man in the metal suit of armor just like takes out Thor. I mean, plus it can set up the whole Doom World plot line with the Thor police resurrection protocol or whatever the heck it was, and it's nonsense. So yeah, it's 100% marketing. There's like, but it is it read weird. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, you just read this, you're like, are you okay, Chris? Like, that's what I
it was a little worrisome because we heard he wanted to like slow down because of like his histories, his family's history of what dementia was it, something like that, or early Alzheimer's or something. So yeah, it was a little scary reading half of that way through that, but no, it sounds like it's just marketing, trying to say this is the final Thor appearance for him, probably. Okay. Wink, wink.
Yeah. There was one other
way more when he's 60, like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. There was one thing I thought I posted, but I didn't. But tangentially related. Disney laid off hundreds in TV and film entertainment and corporate finance this week.
Great. Good industry.
Exclusive from Deadline. Major layoffs are underway on Monday. The Walt Disney Company, with several hundred employees impacted globally. Bulk of them are across divisions of Disney Entertainment, including marketing for both film and television, as well as television publicity, casting, and development. Also affected are Disney's corporate financial operations. Size of the cuts on both sides are comparable. No teams are being completely eliminated, but it's always really bad when you see that.
Yeah, layoffs. Never good.
No, it's definitely not good. It really sucks because even though Bob Iger is the current CEO, and I have criticism of his return, but I really think it was his predecessor, the other Bob, that really just fucked over this company so bad.
Look at the budgets. Just look at the budgets. Like that.
Yeah, the budgets, the how they were handling the parks and everything like that. The sudden pivot to Disney Plus streaming, which I think really impacted all of Disney from a whole. Like as you look at the box office performance of their films, to the weird way they handled all the shows between Marvel and Star Wars on Disney Plus, and like they went from throwing all this money to like penny pinching and stuff, and it's just, what the fuck, man? Like, and it's just so weird. Especially, we just got from an interview how what's his name, Tony from what's his last name, the showrunner for Andor,
Gilroy.
Yeah. Said they spent $650 million making 2 seasons of Andor, and it's like, what?
How did you get that approved? Yeah,
that's Avengers money. That was Avengers Infinity War and Endgame money. What are you talking about? Like, I'm grateful for it. It's a great show.
It's a
one of the goats.
Show, but
one of the goats.
Yeah,
but like, what the fuck?
like, how did that get approved? Like, how do you sign that? Be like, here's a TV show. We need this money for it, and you're like, how? Like, where's
it's not even like your mainline characters, like we've said. Like, it's like not even a headliner. It's just some random offshoot guy that nobody really cared about before.
I guess it's like, hey, if anything's going to be the prestige thing on Disney, it's going to be this. They're like,
I don't know where that call came from, but
I don't know.
No, I'm glad it happened, but yeah, like, wow. So we'll see if they're having a good start to the year. So that's the worst part about it. You hear layoffs happening, and meanwhile, their movies are starting to make money. Now, Thunderbolts is rumored to just. I've heard rumors that it's losing money, and then I've heard it's breaking even. So who knows? It's going to be close with whatever that one does. But Lilo and Stitch is clearly a success, a massive success for them. And I do feel like Moana was a success, and I do feel like Thunderbolts, profitable or not, is a brand rebuilt, because I feel like they had to rebuild the Marvel identity to get people back to the theater. And I feel like doing that, you can't do that change. And this is what I'm talking about. I'm also referring to this to Superman as well. DC, this is the same idea. Like, you have to build your franchise back. Once you've destroyed a lot of the credibility of things by, releasing what you have before, bad releases for movies, Quantum Mania was not a great movie. There's been a lot of runs of bad stuff. And the same thing I did with DC. Once you get in that spiral, you have to rebuild your brand. And you can't just do it like, boom.
Yeah, it's not overnight. It's not one movie. Yeah. Completely. Like, I think it could be considered a turning point, right? But like,
absolutely,
you've got to see the consistency, and I think that's what Marvel had for a long time, at least 10 years, right?
They did.
Of 10 years consistency, right? And Again, just going back to my last point, where Feige had so many projects in the air between all the movies and all the TV shows. I heard this thing that people said by the time Kevin either approved or denied things, it was like too late to really drastically change, the minutia of it and stuff. So it's unfortunate. Layoffs are only going to hurt. So it just sucks, especially in the cinema side of things when that's already hurt. It's a hurting industry. So
yeah, it is.
Sucks to see.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Moviecast. So stay tuned, everybody. We have Gamecast coming up next. If you're watching this on Twitch, give us a subscription. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscription. That way you know when we post, when we go live. We'll see you guys in the Gamecast. We are out.